In this modern age, developed nations have access to products that have truly changed society. From the smartphone, the TV, to items we take as necessities today, like a refrigerator. It can feel like the whole world is looking to what's next. A mentality based around buying that circulates everywhere. This idea is known as consumerism, the idea that buying items fulfills a purpose rather than just what's needed. This video doesn't intend to necessarily call out consumerism as an objective good or bad, but instead look to where its roots lie, where it is now, and what role it plays in modern life. Humanity always desires more, whether it be power, wealth, property, or just influence. Humans want more. This concept isn't new, as even in ancient times, some would have far more than others, usually based around positions in society. As society developed, the wealthy began to flaunt their wealth with possessions, fancy clothes, numerous spices, hiring servants, and so on. This was reserved for the top tiers of society until just a century ago, when the concepts of mass production and interchangeable parts allowed even unskilled workers to produce high-quality products in bulk. The price of these goods became cheap enough that a quickly expanding middle class could soon purchase items once considered well out of reach. These new items developed a new mindset amongst both the middle class and upper class alike, to always acquire more. For some context, before this expansion of consumerism, goods were purchased with specific intent. Whether this was to make work easier or a necessity to live, goods were purchased when needed and rarely more. As consumerism hit the mainstream, people desired new goods constantly. This concept was greatly explored by sociologist Thorstein Veblen. He created the idea of conspicuous consumption. The acquisition of expensive goods created the perception of wealth and success. A fancy watch, a new car, air conditioning, and more showed off that the owner must be well off. Clothes were not the only way to determine the success of a stranger. Now their possessions did all of the talking for them. As more people desired to be admired for possessions and the perception of success that came with it, they wanted to buy more. This made marketing teams' jobs far easier, as they could market towards the expanding middle class, making new, non-essential items seem like a must. The line between need and want begins to blur, and over the decades, consumerism becomes so ingrained in the human consciousness that it becomes hard to escape. As time went on, media and arts became commercialized using advertisements. As these industries, such as film, grew, so did the desire to put advertisements before and sometimes during them. An average TV show consists of around 9 minutes of advertisements for every 30 minutes, or around 30% of a program. As this becomes the new national pastime, so to speak, more brands become recognizable and developed an image. As more products become part of common knowledge, it made the idea of owning that product even more appealing. Marketing budgets began to surpass the actual production of the product, and eventually we arrived to where we are at today. Consumerism sounds pretty bad, right? Constant advertisements, a desire for more being the mentality of so many, but in actuality, it really isn't all that bad. Without consumerism, companies lose a drive to compete with not just other companies, but the consumer's interest. Sometimes this involves making a better product, and sometimes it can allow a small creative mind to sell a product without everybody saying, "Why do I need this?" Consumerism gives merit to what some would see as pointless products, looking at you, smartwatch, while simultaneously giving those who want it the opportunity to buy it. Of course, the negatives of consumerism are apparent at every turn. Success isn't determined by how many cars you have or how big your TV is, it just shows how you choose to spend your money. Not always bad, not always good, but it's something you and I will just have to deal with. This is Cody of Knowledge Hub.